So this wasn't the one that I was planning to watch. I wanted to watch the one that everybody makes fun of because the CGI wasn't very good with the weird Snapchat faces. And I thought that was this one, but it wasn't. It's kind of interesting, but they just kind of forget the fact that it's supposed to be Truth or Dare, and they end up just doing dares and dares and dares and dares because it's a horror movie, so I guess it has to be scary. Even though you could definitely make it scary with a fucking truths, but they only do truths I think twice. So a bunch of friends go at this house that this guy rented for Halloween to make it scary or something. Kind of a lame plot reason to get them in a creepy house, and it's not even that creepy. Plot of the movie is do the dare or the dare does you. So it already shows you that it doesn't really care about the truth part by that being the tagline of the movie. Um, a few people die here and there. Um, they kind of like do straight up like dirty things. Like, you think the dares would at least be somewhat survivable, but one of the first major dares that comes, once they realized how bad the game is immediately telling this guy to hang himself for 3 minutes. Like, I don't understand how you're supposed to survive that at all. Then they also have something that's completely ridiculous and doesn't make any sense at all, and that is the fact that one guy's dare is to drink poison. How is that a dare? And then they had saw one of the other survivors or something that had somehow survived this weird fucking supernatural shit. Um, and she had told him that they had somehow figured out that you can share the dares. So to solve the poison problem, they get 4 solo cups and pour the drink in all 4 of them. So they can share the poison, and they drink soda before it because that like will stop the poison or something, which is so stupid. And basically their whole logic is that, well, that guy's a doctor, so he knows what he's talking about. I don't think he does. So then they puke up the poison, even though they had been very specific with all the dares that, you have to do them a certain way. Like, one guy's got to put his hands on, electricity or whatever and get burnt. Doesn't say how long, but he's got to do that. So if drinking poison, you'd have to drink it, not spit it out. You're not drinking it by spitting it out. So they didn't really do the dare, but, I guess that works. They also, like, do this one girl really dirty. She does drugs and she's ashamed to admit it. So she just gets murdered. Because she's, like, the last truth in the movie, and it's only, like, 30 minutes in. And the supernatural entity or whatever is like, oh, tell them you're an addict. And she's like, oh, I've never done drugs. So she dies. Because if you don't tell the truth, the dare will kill you. I mean, the supernatural entity will kill you. A lot of the dares were really, really stupid, though. Eventually, they get to this one where you have to, like, cut off 7 body parts. So they decide to share it. They don't say that you have to do a different one. They just say you have to cut out 7 body parts, but for whatever reason, they think that you can only cut off certain ones. So they cut off an earlobe, cut off one of their feet, one of their fingers. But they start by, like, trying to cheat the game, like cutting out a piece of hair and a fingernail, which doesn't work. The game's like, oh no, you can't do that. It's got to be a whole body part. So she comes to the conclusion that if she did the thing, it'd have to be like the whole thing. So if she had ripped off a piece of her skin, she would have to rip off the skin on her entire body. So then how the fuck did the hair thing work? She cut out a piece of her hair, not her entire hair. Does not make any sense at all. Then after she cuts her foot, she tries to take her to the hospital, but the fucking supernatural entity for whatever reason, decides that Truth or Dare needs 3 rounds and everybody's got to take a turn. They're on the third round. And the final dare is that she has to kill her best friend that she's driving to the hospital. She refuses to do it and crashes the car. And the movie ends with a gasp of breath, so she survived. Her friend's obviously dead, though. So, even though she wanted to kill her and her friend because she didn't want to live without her, it failed. So she got fucked over by the supernatural entity. So, I thought the ending was kind of cool, but other than that, the movie fucking sucked.